G'day troops, Tomo with you. Welcome back to Sideways as usual, and welcome to the fourth installment of What's in My Garage, where we will be taking a look at my FMS FCX24 Power Wagon, which is just up behind me there. I've dubbed it the tar bucket, so let's get him on the bench and take a look. Alright, here is my FMS FCX24 Power Wagon, which I've called the tar bucket, and that primarily has to do with the body, the paint job I did on it. End up looking like just had a bucket of tar tipped over it or something like that. The effect I was going for didn't quite work out, but anyway, it looks pretty gnarly. So with the Power Wagon, as I do a lot of watching YouTube videos, saw a few reviews of this rig and performed pretty well. Looked them up, saw the price here in Australia was pretty reasonable, so grabbed one. This was the yellow one, you see coming through the black there. So with the body, I was keen to make it a matte black, a bit of a hillbilly rig, so I thought I'd paint it. The only black paint I had was black gloss, so I thought I'll paint it with that, rub it back with some steel wool, and then seal it with some matte or satin sealer. But when I hit it with the sealer, it reacted with the paint and went all weird, because I had a pretty nice coverage on it at first, and then end up drying looking like that. So I think, from memory, I think I just hit it with more black paint, let it dry, and then rubbed it back with steel wool and left it as that. So I should have just left it rubbed back the first time, because that looked pretty good. But anyway, that's how DIY goes, I guess. So not running with the spare wheel on the back, because the wheels and tyres that come on this thing are tractor tyres. Not super terrible, but obviously not great for crawling, which is the only negative to this rig, is straight out of the box. And like all the reviews I've watched, the people are like, oh, the tyres aren't much chop for crawling. Well, that's because they're not fucking crawling tyres, they're tractor tyres. And this rig, from the little story on the box, was a mud runner from Louisiana based on, so which is made basically out of tractor parts with a Power Wagon body. So of course tractor tyres aren't going to be any good for crawling. So starting on the outside, we've got the obviously stock body. I did paint the window trim and the wipers and the snorkel silver, and the little radiator cap or whatever that is on the front. So all the upgrade parts I've got on here are from Endura, which just makes sense to buy stuff from them because of the price and pretty good shipping times. So just on the, like I said, not running with the spare wheel or anything. I've seen people running these with the roll frame or whatever that's called off as well. I've just got a little jerry can and shovel on the back there. Now let's get inside. So the couple of things I've done to this bumper is basically cut it back so it is not in the way, and obviously really cut back the guards for the bigger, wider tyres so don't get any rubbing in the side steps. But the bumper still gets caught up on stuff. I cut the little part that was going in between them, and I had stock there probably a few mil further out from the lights there, but I sanded it back so it would be flush. But those, and from memory I super glued it on and super glued the screws so I can't get them out, so I might just have to take to it with the Dremel to get them back in, because it still gets caught up a bit on the rocks and stuff there. So on the outside we've got Endura 12-spoke beadlock wheels, aluminium, with wheel weights, and these are the Endura super soft and sticky crawling tyres. I think they are copies of the Hyrax, the J Concepts I think it's called. Pretty good tyres. Only thing I've done with the electronics is the purple Endura 180 size motor, and yeah, quite a lot more power and torque than the stock motor, which is 130 size I think. Yeah, that's the stock motor there. I'll keep that as a spare. Quite a bit. 180 is quite a bit longer, so I had to. The other thing I had to do with the body is cut it out to fit over the motor. I also have modified where the battery sits in there between the transmission and the ESC to fit the larger. I've got a 900 milliamp hour battery in it. I need to trim out the battery tray to fit that in. Also running the Endura 43mm oil shocks. They're basically just the same as the stock shocks, but aluminium in the gold colour. They it surprised me that they actually came with oil in them, because I opened them up and they had oil in them, but they all didn't quite feel the same, so I sort of mucked around with the amount of oil that were in them. So and they're the stock springs. It's reasonably heavy little rig, so it does sit down quite low on the shocks, but basically just eliminating all the bounce from when you're from out of the box there. It's bouncy as hell. So the oil shocks, and as far as I can tell, they haven't leaked, so that's pretty good. The stock plastic ones leaked a bit. Have the brass portal covers. These rigs have portal axles. I've got the brass portal covers front and rear, and the brass steering knuckles on the front. Still running the stock servo, and they've also gone for the brass high lift or high clearance brass links, steel drive shafts. You see that rear one's pretty marked up, it's still good, and pretty much everything else, the chassis, skid plate and axles, all stock. It's a pretty sweet rig. I was quite impressed with the slow crawl straight out of the box. I don't feel any need to change the ESC or anything, or the transmission, two-speed transmission. But just the upgraded motor is all it needed, just to cope with the extra weight of the brass. Might be a bit hard to see. I did actually, just in there on both sides, you can see it a bit better over there. Just ground off the steering knuckles to clear that screw, because I found it was contacting that point at full lock. And the other thing I noticed in the body was in there where I've chewed it out with the Dremel, that was hitting on the servo horn, servo saver screw. So I trimmed that out because it was blocking the suspension from going to full compression. I think that's about it. Get him out on the course and see what this little rig is capable of. There's probably a few sections on the course it's right on the borderline of too wide. With the portal covers front and rear, they come with 6mm hexes, so that widened it quite a bit. But yeah, looks pretty mean. Yep, rightio, let's get out on the course. Battery's going already. Alright, fresh battery, got the 900 milliamp hour in, that's second gear. Back to first gear. Been messing around with how I manage the filming, starting off handheld, but I'm not that great at one-handed driving, so we'll see how we go. If I get annoyed with myself, I'll just set up static shots. I think I did forget to mention that I've got 10% overdrive gears in the front portal axle, which seem to be the only real option for the Power Wagon as far as overdrive goes. But and steel diff gears. I've got a set of steel diff gears. You can see, I think I was coming up this part here after I got the bigger motor in, and it was got the front wheels into a bit of a hole. I don't know what I'm trying to do here. Anyway, got the front wheels got into a bit of a hole, and I noticed they weren't the rear end was driving, but the front end wasn't. So basically, surely this battery can't be flat. I thought I charged it. Yeah, the axles were just turning inside the diff gears. Go around the other side. So I sourced some steel diff gears, found some on Banggood, ordered them, and then it's behaving like the battery's flat, like goes and stops, goes and stops. I'm sure I charged that battery and another one the other day. So, well, I'll have to go and charge up batteries again and come back. Alright, we're back. Charge the battery. Let's see how we go. That was a better effort. Still a bit top heavy, this one. That's it.
extra 20% overdrive for the Endura helical diff gears will probably help this rig out a lot, because I think the 10% just isn't enough. And that front bumper keeps getting stuck still.
Rightio troops, that'll do it for today's video. Thanks for watching, and catch you next week for the 5th installment of What's in My Garage. See ya.